I love you. I love everybody. Everybody in the world. And I mean it. It doesn't mean I approve of what everybody does or that I like everything that people do to me or say to me, but you know what? They're in my heart. Because we are all one shared humanity, one light, existing in different bodies, going through our own journeys, making our own new discoveries. And just like children who throw tantrums and say all kinds of things, we can see them, I think 2, 3, 4-year-olds, we can see them with innocence because we know on the other side of that tantrum is a beautiful, loving heart. Hey, what do you guys got going here? You selling it? How much? I'll take 2.
Okay.
All right, look at these guys. What's the name of your store? Do you got a name?
No.
Cool. Well, I'm up for buying some. My name's Ryan. What's your name?
Jose.
Jose. Can you slap me 5? Yeah. Do it nice and hard. Just gonna buy some lemonade here. Let me set you down for a second. Just making a video here, guys, but I'll break for lemonade. They're so cute. All right. You guys gonna be here for a little while?
Yeah.
Because I only have room to carry one. How about I'll come get my second one from you later?
Sure.
But I'll pay you for it now.
Okay.
So what, I owe you $1?
Yeah.
All right, and here's a $1 tip for you guys too, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Ya tengo 5.
Let me taste this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's just the way I like it. Thanks, guys. Well, have a good day. Good luck, okay?
Okay, come back.
Bye-bye, I will. See, like kids like that, the light in their eyes is just so bright. And I see that light in adults' eyes too. So if I have somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hey you, why'd you park your car?" Ooh, I'm spilling my lemonade. "Why'd you park your car so close to mine? You almost hit it." I might say something like, "Hey brother, I hear you. I hear you. Let's talk about this." So it's all good, you know. The car's not hit. Everybody's fine. So let's just relax, okay? And then oftentimes I get things like, yeah, I'm sorry. I just got scared there because I thought maybe you scratched my car. So I get it. I've been upset before too. And there are times when I use force too. But it's always knowing, just like with a kid, if you're saying like, "Stop, don't go into the road," because you're trying to get their attention quick. So a lot of times what's called anger is really just a force of urgency to communicate quickly and directly with force. And our society tends to see anger as something that needs to be done away with. But what I've come to see is that anger is a totally normal and healthy emotion, and it really is just about urgency and directness. And since we live in a society that kind of wants to eradicate anger, we live in a situation where most people, if they get angry, they're shamed and shunned, thrown in jail. I mean, in Boulder here, I've learned a lot through my own experiences over the last bunch of months. And what I've learned is that people who get angry and just yell at someone or even punch the wall of their own house because they're angry and frustrated, those people can go to jail. They do go to jail. Somebody calls the police and says that somebody was threatening just because they were talking loud and they punched a wall. If the police see any sign of damage, they take them in and they can go to jail for domestic violence. And so, wow, a culture where if you express yourself authentically without hurting anybody in terms of physical contact, like you get locked up. And what I've seen is that only perpetuates more anger because people then get bottled up because they're not able to express themselves fully and freely. what I've come to see is really the only thing, that is not okay when it comes to expressing authentic anger and authentic emotion is, to physically attack someone else who's not threatening us. That's not okay. And I want to live in a society where if somebody does that there are firm consequences. Because that's not okay. To attack somebody physically if there's not some type of threat to your own being. But to be angry and say, I'm angry, or to punch something, that's a great release. And so right now, this is what came up for me to talk about as I'm drinking my lemonade. But really, what I want to talk about in this video is I'm feeling compelled to do a new little series on what men want. So I'm going to start it with this video here. What men want. I get a lot of messages from women who, want to find the right man, want to have a beautiful, intimate relationship that gives to the soul, that feels right. We all want it, right? We all want to be in love, have great sex, find a relationship that's mutually respectful and mutually beneficial. But so many people are having a hard time finding that. And I'm going through the stuff that I'm going through in my life right now, but it's all good. It's only going towards a good place. Conflict and working through conflict and allowing conflict to work on us. Like I always say in my videos, conflict is an opportunity to go inward and to grow. It's like, the way I think about life is that, like, when you want to birth into your full authentic self, it's like there's a seed that's in all of us, it's in our heart, but we don't have a shell. It's like a little embryo that's in there. It wants to birth out. That's like our inner child. But there's no shell that's here. I can't see a shell. But like anything, a seed or an egg, it needs a shell. It needs something that provides pressure so that inside that thing can grow. And then the seed shell or the egg shell starts to crack so that new life births out. And there's the new flower or the new chicken or the new turtle or whatever it is that's now a new creation. And so your full authentic self is waiting to be birthed. And it's conflict and dealing with it in a healthy way and working and using that conflict that is the way to birth your new self, your full self, your freedom, your enlightenment, your inner peace comes through conflict, feeling those feelings. When you come up against anything that makes you uncomfortable. Okay, so I want to talk about what men want. Men want the same thing as women: intimacy, freedom. But that's the tough thing in this human life is to, we want freedom, so we could go out and live by ourselves and have all the freedom that we want, but then we're not really intended to live alone. We're intended to live in community and in love. That's why these feelings come up, and it feels so good to have great friends and to have romantic partners where there's just so much energy of love and it just feels so good. We want to spend time with other people. So the challenge of the human experience is experiencing freedom and experiencing love. Because if we're just experiencing freedom, we tend to feel lonely and incomplete. But when we get into relationships where we start to enmesh and become codependent and have expectations on each other and push and pull, then our freedom gets essentially taken away, or we give it away unconsciously. So men want the same thing as women: deep intimacy on the most beautiful level. Like when you fall in love with someone at the beginning, it feels so good, head over heels, the world falls away. And that feeling is what we all want continuously. We want to exist freely in unconditional love and feel completely connected to those around us. Okay, so how can we get there? What do men want? Men want from women, number one, honesty. I'm going to keep walking here. Men want honesty. Direct honesty. Even though if even at times when they doesn't seem like they want it. We want honesty. We want a woman to tell us what they want. We want a woman to know what they want. Can you imagine going out on a first date with someone You know, imagine myself as a man when I sit down with a woman and she says, you know, here are the things I want in life. You know, I want a job that's fulfilling. I want to live, you know, in this city or this city. I want to be free to do exactly the things that I want to do. And I also want to find a man that I can spend time with who, you know, just brings more into my life. You know, but I don't want that relationship to be my everything that defines and dictates who I am. I want to be my own strong woman and live freely and do the things that are fun for me and go on trips that are fun for me or watch movies alone by myself sometimes. But I also want a man who respects me and who respects himself and who has clear boundaries and knows what he wants. Because that's the thing, when we know what we want clearly and we've spent time investigating that, then we can communicate that to other people. And early on in relationships, if we're very honest, you know, like I know what men want. They want women to be open and honest about their sexuality and where they stand. You know, if a woman says to a man, hey, I'm looking to meet somebody and I'd like to spend some time with you to see what our chemistry is and what our connection is. But as of right now, I'm not really looking for anything physical. You know, if that happens down the road, that'll happen. But I just want to be honest with you. I'm not looking for something physical. How awesome is that? How direct is that? And then a man knows. So any of that energy that happens during dating, you know, because a man. Sorry, I'm in this tunnel here. Give me a minute. So men, they do want to have sex, you know, when they see a beautiful woman that they're attracted to. I mean, the thought's like, wow, that feels good to look at this person and to look into their eyes. And when I look into their eyes, I feel a spark of attraction, and it starts making me think about like what it would be like to kiss that person and to hug that person and to squeeze them and to, you know, to cuddle with no clothes on. And so men do start thinking down that road, but it's like we don't need it. But it's part of falling in love for us. It's part of connecting and feeling attracted. And I know it is for women too, but I'm just speaking from the man's perspective as best I can, from my own perspective. But if a woman says, hey, you know, I would like to have coffee with you or go out on a date with you. But if a woman is very direct and just says, but like, I'm not really interested in anything physical, you know, let's get to know each other and take it from there. A man, even though he might be a little disappointed, I mean, actually, it empowers a man to hear that, because then a man knows where the woman stands, and it's out in the open. See, what we as men, what we see so many women doing is women want to meet somebody, and they want to connect, and they want to enhance the opportunity for a long-term romantic relationship. And so what I see a lot of women do is they don't really speak directly to their desires and what their boundaries and what they're okay with and what they're not and what they're looking for and what they're not. So it kind of, you know, the whole physical part of the relationship at the beginning is kind of like this unspoken thing for a lot of people. And since the man doesn't really know where the woman stands, you know, the man's thinking about that and, you know, maybe hoping that will happen. But if a woman just says, hey, I want to spend time with you, but the physical stuff, like, let's just put that on the back burner. I just want you to know, like, that's not something that I'm thinking about yet. You know, a man might be a little disappointed, but then he's like, wow, okay, now I know. It's out in the open and we can even talk about it. And that's what I've experienced in, you know, my most recent dating relationships. Just very open talking about that and saying to each other, like, hey, we're attracted to each other. I like the way that you look and the way that you feel, but let's let this happen organically. Let's let it get to a point where we both, if it happens, where we both just can't not touch and kiss each other anymore. Like, let's let it happen so organically, you know, like it used to. And for me, at least, like in high school, like in all my dating relationships, I've always just waited on that. Let the human connection grow. And so I guess I'm just saying that men want to know where they stand. You know, they want to know if a woman's interested in them as, you know, romantically, they want to know. And if that's not the case, a man ultimately, even though it might, you know, feel a little hard to hear from someone that they're not interested in that way, but they want to know the truth. Men want to know the truth. They can handle it. Okay, so what else do men want? Men want to have fun. You know, men love to have fun and be light and make jokes and have the room to just kind of banter. And so it's great when we meet women who can recognize that hey, men and women are different, and sometimes men's jokes are different than women's, and you know, men have their own thing going. And so men love it when they don't feel like a woman needs them to be a certain specific way, or gets worried or gets offended if they're just being themselves. You know, what's great is if a man's being himself and he does say something that, you know, doesn't feel right to the woman, and this goes both ways, of course. But if a woman can say to a man, hey, you know, I think you're cool, and I like your energy, I like your spirit, you know, but that one thing that you said, that kind of bothered me a little bit, you know, can we talk about that? You know, getting things out in the open rather than burying them and then later on, you know, emailing him and saying, you know, the date was going fine until you said that one thing and that totally turned me off. Because a man's kind of in this mode where he's like, you know, I'm just trying to be myself, and I'm just trying, you know, I want to have fun and I want to be free and talk openly, but I also don't want to hurt your feelings. Men do not like to hurt women in general. You know, we want to be free and be fun and be cool, and then we want to know, like, hey, if something that I'm doing upsets you, bothers you, you know, let me know, but please don't expect that I have to do something about it. And of course that goes both ways. That's what I talk about so much with setting boundaries and breaking codependency, is like, if something bothers us, that's our responsibility to own it, speak to it, recognize it. But if we expect that the other person has to make a change or has to do something about it, that's going to break things down really quick. Because as soon as we feel pulled on or pushed on by another person, then generally that restricts our freedom, and it kind of kills the connection. Because we all want to be seen as good for who we are. So having the ability to see someone as good, but also talk to them about the things that you don't necessarily like, you know, that's conflict. And so men want to be able to engage in conflict and talk loud. You know, if it gets into even like a little bit of an argument where the voices go up and the intensity goes up, men want to be able to stay in that and talk through it, get space if needed, but to come to a place of resolution where it's like, hey, you know, we disagreed on that one thing and we had different opinions and we talked through it, and here we are connected again, and we didn't have to push each other out of our hearts. And like, you know, that feels so good to a man, to like be able to express his opinions, to speak them strongly, and to not have to worry about that's going to push someone away. Because a lot of men are existing in a situation where they so badly want connection with women, and they so badly want to be the man that women want them to be, but they just don't know what to do. They're trying to conform, they're trying to adapt, but they're getting mixed signals from different women. And you know, some women are saying, you know, men need to be really sensitive and nice and soft, and other women are sending a message like, no, we want you to be strong and to protect us and to stand up for us. So men are kind of going like, I just don't know what the heck to do. So a lot of men are just kind of thrown off, and they just don't know what to do. And women feel that. They're like, where are the men? Where are the strong and sensitive men? And the path to that is through authenticity. This is the word that I talk about all the time, right? Being authentic. So the more that a woman can give a man his freedom to be authentic, and give herself freedom to be authentic, that's when we can start to find ourselves more and more and more. And that's where real intimacy can happen. Because it's like, hey, I give you space to be you. And if I don't like it, I'll just get some space, or I'll talk to you about it, but I won't push you out of my heart or try to change you. And if you can do the same thing for me and not have any expectations on each other, like, wow, that's when the love flows, and that's when the connection grows, and that's when people feel alive. And it's like, hey, let's go out to the movies, and let's go dancing, and let's go cuddle, and you know, I'll respect your boundaries. Like, if whatever your physical boundaries are, if you don't want me to kiss you, I won't kiss you. If you don't want me to hold your hand, I won't. But I want to do those things, so you just know I want to do those things, but on your timing, you know, because your comfort level is going to dictate what this relationship does, and vice versa with me. You know, if I don't want you to touch me, I'm going to share that with you. If I'm not ready to kiss yet, I'm going to just let you know, hey, I'm not ready for that yet. And that's great. It's like this fun scavenger hunt that we're on together, finding each other, finding ourselves. So hopefully that just sheds a little bit of light into some of what men want. And I know I don't speak for everyone, but I speak for me, and here I am, a man. Have an awesome day. I'm going to drink my lemonade.